Not every loss is an ending. Sometimes it's a disguised beginning. Maybe no one ever told you this, but God has a strange way of starting His greatest stories. He takes everything, suddenly, without warning, without explanation, and maybe that's exactly where you are right now, watching what was secure fall apart, feeling what was certain slip through your fingers, holding dreams that now feel like silence. But there's something you need to hear, something I feel deeply in my spirit to tell you. What you've lost is not greater than what God is preparing to give. I learned this from Joseph. He lost it all: the robe, the home, the love, the honor, the freedom. But what looked like the end was really the beginning of something greater, because the same God who allowed the loss was already preparing double. And maybe you can't see it yet, but heaven is already moving behind the scenes of your pain. Not one moment was wasted. Not the pit, not the prison, not the waiting. It was all shaping you, so when the time comes, you'll be ready for the elevation. Today, I want to take you on that journey. You're going to see why things fell apart, how God works in silence, and when the double portion begins to manifest. Line by line, you'll feel it. The promise still stands. And more than that, what's coming will be greater than what was lost. Stay with me until the end, because you're about to discover a truth that could change everything. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Leave a comment below with your city or country. And if you believe you're ready to receive God's blessings, drop the number 7 in the comments, symbolizing prosperity and blessings. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could also be blessed. Let's map together where the fire of the Spirit is reaching and bringing prosperity. You've lost something, haven't you? Something you thought was secure. Something that defined your future, your dreams, your sense of purpose. Jose understood this feeling all too well. He had everything: favor, family, future, and then, in a single moment, he lost it all. Have you ever had that kind of loss, the kind where everything you held dear is ripped away? It doesn't matter how much you try to prepare, how much you tell yourself you'll be fine, the pain of loss cuts deeper than you expect. And in that moment of despair, when you feel like nothing can ever be right again, God whispers, "This isn't the end. This is the beginning." When Jose lost everything, his coat, his family's love, his dream, he could have given up. He could have thought it was over. He could have thought that God had forgotten him, but God didn't forget him. God was setting the stage for something greater. And maybe that's exactly what God is doing in your life right now. You may feel like you've lost it all, but God works through loss to prepare you for the greatness He's about to reveal in your life. The moment that feels like destruction could be the moment that God begins building you up for what's next. He doesn't waste pain. He redeems it, just like He did for Jose. So, if you're in a season of loss, know this: God is working, even when you can't see it. He's preparing you for something you haven't even imagined yet. Keep trusting. The loss is only a step towards the double portion. Rejection is one of the deepest wounds we can experience. But when it comes from those who should love you, protect you, and believe in you, it feels like a death of the soul. Jose knew this pain well. His brothers, the people who shared his blood, rejected him, threw him in a pit, and sold him into slavery. Betrayal is like that. It cuts deeper when it comes from those who should have stood by you, who should have seen the value in you. You might have felt that sting too, haven't you? The pain of being rejected by those you trusted. The ones who told you they would be there forever, only to abandon you when it mattered most. But here's something powerful I've learned. Rejection doesn't stop God's plan for your life. It reveals it. When people reject you, they don't cancel your destiny. They might just be positioning you for something better. Joseph's brothers rejected him, but in doing so, they unknowingly set him on the path to his purpose. And it's the same for you. God sees the hurt, the tears, the moments of loneliness. But remember this: your rejection is often God's redirection. When people walk away, God is still walking beside you. And when you stay faithful, even in the face of rejection, God will honor your obedience. You are not defined by their rejection, you are defined by your obedience to God. Have you ever felt like life was pushing you down, even though you did everything right? Like you tried, you worked, you stayed faithful, and yet you ended up in a place that seemed worse than before. Jose's story wasn't just about betrayal, it was about unfairness. He didn't deserve to be thrown into a pit. He didn't deserve to be sold as a slave. He was faithful, obedient, and he worked hard. And yet, life seemed to kick him down when he was trying to do the right thing. Sometimes life doesn't make sense, it doesn't seem fair. You do your best, and yet everything seems to crumble. But here's what I've learned from Jose's story. God doesn't need perfect circumstances to fulfill his purpose in your life. Sometimes the bottom is where he does his best work. When everything seems unfair, when you feel like you've been wronged, that's when God starts to shape you. You may feel like you're at your lowest point, but God is using that time to prepare you for your highest moment. The pit wasn't the end of Jose's story, it was the beginning of the story God had already written for him. And the same is true for you. You may be in a season of pain, confusion, or setback, but trust me, God is still in control. The setback you see is a setup for the comeback that only He can orchestrate. Sometimes it feels like the very place where you've been hurt, abandoned, or rejected is the place where God does His most powerful work. Joseph wasn't put in the palace, he was put in Potiphar's house as a slave. And yet, despite the circumstances, he prospered. He wasn't given a position, he wasn't handed wealth or power. He was in a place that seemed designed to keep him down, and still he thrived. You might be in a place right now that feels far from your purpose. Maybe your job doesn't seem to match the vision God gave you. Maybe your current situation doesn't reflect the promises He whispered into your heart. But here's the truth I've learned: God doesn't need ideal conditions to prosper you. He needs you to remain faithful no matter the environment. Joseph wasn't blessed because the place was good. He was blessed because he walked with God, even in the least ideal circumstances. You may be asking, how can I thrive in a place like this? The answer is simple. Faithfulness to God in every season opens the door for His favor. You might be working in a job that doesn't seem to bring glory, but if you do it with excellence and integrity, God will make that place prosper because of your faithfulness. Your prosperity doesn't depend on where you are. It depends on who you walk with. And if you walk with God, even the most unlikely places will become places of growth and abundance. Keep your faith. God has not forgotten you. And He will make you prosper where no one else believes it's possible. Joseph's greatest test wasn't the betrayal or the prison. It was the temptation that came when no one was watching. Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. No one would have known. No one would have blamed him, but Joseph made a choice. He chose to run. He ran because he knew that God's presence was more valuable than anything this world could offer. Sometimes the hardest choices come when you think no one is watching. It's in those moments when the world tells you it's okay that your integrity is truly tested. Maybe you're facing temptation in your own life, and no one would notice if you gave in. But the choice you make in the secret is what determines how God will use you in the open. Joseph could have given in, but he didn't. And God honored his decision in a way that would change his entire future. The temptation you face is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. The decisions you make in secret prepare you for the promotion that's coming. God will not trust you with greater responsibility unless you've shown faithfulness in the private moments. He will not elevate you until He knows you'll honor Him even when no one else is watching. So choose integrity, choose to honor God, even when it's hard. Because what you do in private prepares you for the promotion God has for you in public. Joseph's rise didn't happen by accident. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even just hard work. It was God's timing and His divine favor that brought him from the prison to the palace. When Pharaoh had a dream and no one could interpret it, God made sure Joseph was in the right place at the right time. Joseph didn't have to fight for the position. God opened the door. That's how God works. He doesn't need your plan to succeed. He needs your faithfulness to activate His plan. You might feel stuck. You might feel like you're waiting forever. But I want you to understand this. God's timing is never wrong. And when He decides it's your moment, no one can stop it. It doesn't matter who's been in the way, who rejected you, or how many doors have slammed in your face. When God opens a door for you, it will open wide. You may feel forgotten, like Joseph in prison. But don't doubt, God is always working behind the scenes, aligning people, events, and opportunities that you can't see yet. Your promotion is being set up, and when the time is right, God will open the door and no one will be able to shut it. So keep trusting, keep believing, keep working with integrity. Because when God says it's your time, no one can delay what He has planned for you. There's something beautiful about being faithful when no one's watching. It's in those quiet moments when it seems like no one cares that God is forming your character for the spotlight He's preparing. Joseph was forgotten by the cupbearer. He waited without recognition, without reward. It felt like no one cared, no one saw his efforts. But here's the powerful truth: God saw it all. God is always watching when you're faithful in the unseen places. Those small acts of obedience, those private moments when you choose God over comfort, those moments are what prepare you for what's to come. Joseph didn't rush his promotion. He stayed faithful, even when his faithfulness seemed to lead him further into the pit. And then, at just the right moment, when Joseph least expected it, his name was called. It wasn't because he was the most qualified. It was because he had been faithful when no one was looking. That's how God works. Your integrity, your service, your heart of faithfulness will always be honored, even if it feels like the world is overlooking you. Keep serving with excellence, keep honoring God in the small things. Because what you do in private will lead to public favor. Joseph's life changed in an instant. One moment, he was in prison. The next, he was standing in front of Pharaoh, interpreting dreams. It didn't take years of slow progress. It took a divine moment of favor. The promotion Joseph received wasn't gradual. It was a sudden elevation, and that's how God works. There's a time in your life when everything you've endured suddenly turns into something greater. What feels like endless waiting and frustration can change in one moment when God decides it's your time. God doesn't work on human timelines. He doesn't need years of struggle to build your future. What may seem delayed is being perfectly orchestrated. The moment of your breakthrough can come in the blink of an eye. You might be waiting now. You might feel like it's taking too long. But know this: God is not late. He is preparing everything in His perfect timing. And when He opens the door, no one can close it. Just like with Joseph, God will promote you when the time is right. So don't give up now. The sudden change is coming. And when it comes, it will be worth everything you've waited for. You've lost something, haven't you? Maybe you've lost something that seemed irreplaceable. Maybe you've been betrayed, overlooked, or forgotten. But just like Joseph, God doesn't just restore what's lost, He gives the double portion. Joseph didn't just get back what was taken. He became governor of the land where he had been rejected. The very place where he was thrown away became the place of his promotion. And that's what God does when He blesses you. He doesn't just give you back what you lost. He gives you more. Where they said you would fail, God will cause you to rise. Where they doubted you, God will make you a testimony of His goodness. The double portion doesn't just mean material blessings, it means restoration and elevation in the same place where you were once brought low. Joseph's story wasn't just about being restored. It was about being elevated to a place where he could bless others, even those who had hurt him. And God wants to do that in your life. He doesn't just want to restore what was taken. He wants to make you a vessel of blessing. He wants to take you to places where you will prosper, not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of those around you. So hold on. What you've lost will be returned, but God will give you double for your trouble. I know what it's like to look back and only see pieces. Broken dreams, quiet prayers, silent nights. I've questioned God when all I could hear was silence. I've cried in the dark when everything in me whispered, "It's over," but now I see it all differently. Because I've come to understand that God never allows you to lose without the intention to restore. Joseph taught me that. He lost the robe, but not the calling. He lost his place, but not the promise. He was rejected by people, but carried by God, and in the end, he didn't just get back what was stolen. He received double, and I believe the same will happen for you. It doesn't matter what was taken from you. It doesn't matter who walked away, who betrayed you, or where they tried to bury you. God saw it all. He counted every tear, and he knows exactly when to lift you up. If this spoke to your heart, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Even just one sentence, something that stayed with you. Your words might be the exact answer someone else is praying for right now. And if someone came to your mind while watching this, send it to them. God wants to reach them too, through you. What felt like the end was only the preface. The double is on the way, and when it comes, you'll understand why it was worth not giving up.